Greetings YouTube, and I'm happy to announce that I have a new batteries in my camera, so we're hopefully going to be able to get some better time on my filming. I just got two new batteries from Wasabi Power. They came in 3 days. I was quite impressed. Alright, so you're looking at a horizontal dog clamp, and these are not this is 33 bucks for one of these things, okay? It's not cheap. And I want to try this, but I don't want to spend 33 bucks on something which is a gamble. Will I like it? So I happened to notice on YouTube a guy had come up with his own design. His channel starts with a J. I think he's Korean. He does lots of really cool builds. They're doing for woodworking and making his own fixtures with 80/20 material and stuff. He's a genius. I can't remember his handle. He never speaks. He just just makes stuff. It's cool. He'd come up with a design that used a piece of square stock tubing for this, a piece of threaded rod for that, and then on this end he had coming this way, sort of put that way, so he had this way one of these, not attached to anything, but one of these. So he had to purchase a purpose-built threaded rod with the swivel on the bottom. So I looked at that and I'm like, I've got square stock tubing that could do that, and then I know how to use threaded rod. I use it all the time. But that was the thing that was holding me back, because if you have to get a specialty piece like this piece, that's going to be expensive and tedious to find. You know what I mean? And he had to build, since it was square stock tubing, he had to put a nut on the inside and a little wooden block. And I don't usually work with wood. So I thought about it. Well, I think I can make what this guy come up with on my own without having to do that, because I can buy a clamp. This is a 5-inch depth clamp. Picked it up at Harbor Freight. I think I paid $6 for it, brand new. I think I can make this do the same thing as that by taking this. I'm going to cut it off just here, just at the where that radius is. Zoink. Grind this off. There's the same thing on the other side. It says 5 inches on that side. So this is flat. I am then going to take a piece of this, which is 5/8 inch threaded rod. Not particularly cheap. It was 17 bucks, I think, for a 3-foot piece. I'm going to use 9 inches, which means I could theoretically get 4 clamps out of this. So 4 clamps, so 6 times 4 is 24 plus 17. So for 40 bucks, I could make 4 of these, whereas this is 33 plus shipping. So this just seems a simpler, cheaper method to go with. I chose 5/8 because that is the hole I have here. When I originally built my bench, I didn't really know how I wanted to hold things down. I don't even think I had a vise at the time when I had the bench, and I got the bench. I found that at an estate sale for 25 bucks. That's a really good deal. I love this thing. So I had designed it so I could use 2 threaded bolts like this. All right, and I still use these as dogs. I push against this all the time if I'm working on something, so I can clamp and have something to push against. So I would use a metal plate that I have that has 2 holes in it. I would put 2 threaded through bolts in there and then clamp the thing down. It works, but it's very tedious because you got 2 different nuts. When you're tightening them, you never quite get the amount of pressure, so it's not even, and it got frustrating. So I modified a couple of these Irwin clamps. I took the ends off so I could slide the rod in here and put the mechanism down here, so I would just have the top section here. Then I could go chung, 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 chung with my hand, clamp something down, and it works beautifully because it keeps everything out of my way. However, because I got this vertical bar in my way, now it means I can't open my drawers, which is tedious because sometimes I don't know what tool I'm going to need until I start a project. So, good idea. You worked well, but I think I can do better. So, I'm going to take a 9-inch section of this, cut it off, grind this off, and then I'm going to cut a notch in the end. I'm going to come down whatever distance this ends up being. I haven't figured it out yet. Come down that far, cut a shoulder in, and then cut it in half. So I ended up with a flat surface, a notch in this. Once I have the flat surface and 9 inches long, I'm going to use that flat surface as a reference. I would drill 2 holes in it because I think I can get 2 fasteners in this section here, probably 1/4-20s, because I have a light working in a lot of 1/4-20s, and I can get a 1/4-inch hole through this without any difficulty. Though I may have to grind a flat so that my drill bit doesn't trying to drill through threads. Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe I can get lucky and get it, just nibble at it and make it go away. We'll see. And then mark, and then run it here, run it right up against that this line here, so everything's as square as it can be. 2 holes. This stuff drills pretty well. I've already tried that with my camera mount I made not long ago. Put 2 bolts in, bolt it together, and now I have a clamp which I can put in here, put an object here, you slide it down, then you tighten it, and when you tighten it, the whole thing kinks, and that holds it together. And that's the beauty of this, because that keeps the tab firmly planted on the part, and it still gives you some play this way. So this is a simple design, and I'm only going to do one right now, and if it works, I'll do a second one. I don't think I'm going to need more than 2. And what I do, if that does work, I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to drill holes in my outrigger bench. This is the second bench I built. And I'll drill holes so that I have a 10-inch circumference. So I'll build it so that it'll come right to this edge, and it'll go out to 10 inches, because the 5-inch thing, or whatever measurement I end up with, probably 5 inches. So 10-inch, 10-inch, and then maybe some in the middle, so I have more clamping. But if I can get this, because this comes in pretty deep. This comes into here, about there, that's at the overhang. So if I can get it just at the overhang, or just because I want to get it as much, coverage as I can, because this is where I clamp things a lot. As you can see, this is where I'm currently storing my Miller's Falls V clamp, V vise, or V-line, sorry, V-line vise, and I use that here all the time. So this is going to end up being a place I can then clamp things easily, and I may do the same thing down here, because then that gives me more clamping options, at least on this section. I can't do too much with this because these come out to about here, the bars for this vise here. And the combination of this with my V-line and maybe 2 of these dog clamps I'm making, it's going to give me a lot of clamping options, both on this table and on this table, because obviously I can put the V-line clamp here anytime I want to. And I've done that quite recently. It's a beautiful device. Get yourself one. I think Craftsman made their own version, so that may probably be cheaper and easier to find. But yeah, alrighty. So first thing I got to do is get myself suited up in some safety gear, and now I have an armored apron. I recently put some steel plating on my apron so I won't get burned anymore, at least hopefully. And cut this first, and then when I then do some grinding to get it flat, and then we'll figure out what the distance is here, so that I can then figure out, I'll work on this end, figure out how much big of a notch I need. And I also need to cut this to 9 inches. So, bunch of cutting to do, so let's get suited up. Alrighty, so I've got my rig set up, got this clamp firmly in place, got my angle grinder, earphones, eyeglasses, and armored apron. So I can't bend over this anymore, that's fun. Congratulations. My wife's here. Alrighty, so that's now cut, so now I am going to set this up and do some cutting on the footage rod. That's the first part of the plant.
chirpy, chirpy. I did not put this up far enough. Move it. That's not inches. Anywhere.
All right, so I have gotten this all polished up, so it's nice and smooth. I cleaned these edges up, knocked off the burrs, and I figured out that I need 2 1/8 inches for this. I've already done the cross cut, so now I have to do the cut where I go the lengthwise. So I thought that might be a little more interesting to watch than me just make a little cross cut, because, you know, if you've seen somebody cut something in half once, which you have already seen in this video, you really don't need to see it again. Let me put my glove on in the right direction. So this is going to be a little more harder because I have to, like, hopefully get this thing to be I overshot that a smidge, but that was intentional because I can't get that to be perfect all the way through because I can't do a plunge cut with this thing because you know I'm cutting and I can't go any the bars here, so something's not cutting out. It's not cutting free. Figure out what that is. Oh, we got a double cut. Oh, that's not cooking. That's not good. That's not good. I can fix this, but it's gonna make my life a little harder. All right. Oops. Bending down with this thing is a pain in the butt, but it protects me. So, alrighty. Alrighty. Alright. Well, I'm gonna have to drop back and punt on this one. Figure out what I'm gonna do at this point. You don't have to be for this here. For this part, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do. I can fix this. I just quite to figure out how I gotta do it. So I figured it out, and I got it to work. Now the problem is that when I'm doing these projects, there's a learning curve. Now you can see this one is in the middle, and this one is not. That because I learned drilling this one what I had to do to make this one in the middle, but I wasn't about to start from scratch. And again, this is not a big investment project. I just want to see if it works. It's a proof of concept. So as proof of concept, I was able to get this to function. Everything is coming together. It all works. These still fit in here, like this. And then this comes down. Bingo. Let's see if I can get this to do one-handed. The problem is that to get the kinking action that I need for it to work, it really has to come down at a very more of an acute angle than that is really designed to handle. So it's definitely not going anywhere. It works. 100% it works. It doesn't completely solve my problem of blocking my drawers though, as I made these things very long. It won't have a problem over my other bench because there are no drawers. And I do clamp more and more stuff on that surface than this surface over time. But this is convenience because my angle grinders, everything I can reach is right here. So sometimes I'm using my V-line clamp on that corner. But this does work. So as a proof of concept, I think I've succeeded. So now I need to see how does it function in the real world. When I need to clamp something, do I turn to this to have it fill that role? So that's the next step. So the next is just going to start doing stuff. And if I start doing stuff and I find that I turn to this a lot, or even, just once or twice a month, it will have been worth my time and effort and design. If I discover that it is not something I am investing in my time in, I didn't waste a whole lot. A couple hours of my life total, and it would have taken less if I wasn't filming. So it's not a waste of my time. It's an experiment. So we're going to now see if the experiment turns out to be as useful as I hope it will be. I'm not happy with the angle, and I don't know how to get rid of that, because this going in that hole is nice and snug. I mean, it's exactly the same size as that hole. There's no play in there. So I'm not 100% sure why I'm not getting a better kink, why I'm not getting this to tighten up before I have that acute angle. So if anybody knows anything about these types of vices, or even if you just have a general knowledge of physics that is beyond me, because I'll freely admit that my understanding of physics is a solid layperson and nothing beyond that. I can't do the math to save my life. Yeah, it's a proof of concept. So now we're going to see what happens where the rubber meets the road. Do I use it? Does it solve problems for me? Yes or no? And if it doesn't, well, maybe I'll find something else to use for it, or maybe it'll be something I use once or twice a year. And if it does, then I'm going to make another one. And the next one will look more centered than this one does. Because I didn't want to do a flat on this. I didn't want to lose too much material, because there's not a lot left there. You know what I mean? That's not all that thick. But in retrospect, maybe I should have ground a couple of those threads out, just very, very carefully. So I had a better flat for that drill. Because trying to get it without a mill, if I had a mill, this would be an issue. If I had a mill, this would be so much easier, but I don't have a mill. I just got a drill press. I'm doing the best I can. Alrighty, so blathering on long enough. I'm happy with the fact it's completed. I think it was a success. We're going to see what happens in the long run. And I'm very happy to tell you that the Wasabi Power batteries I picked up are awesome, because I have not lost a single bar of power during this entire shoot. I haven't had that happen since this camera was new. Alrighty, so thank you for being here. I greatly appreciate your stopping by and seeing this vid. If you don't follow me in DeviantArt and Instagram, you should, because that is where I post permanent pictures of my weapons builds. And Instagram has got cat pictures and bargain pictures and sneak previews and things like that. Because let's face it, who doesn't love a cat picture? Alright, thank you for being here. See you next time.